What's going on, y'all? I know it's been a while. I made a YouTube video. I think it's been about 3, maybe even 4 weeks. But that's just a product of me being really busy and handling my business. You know what I mean? 2 weeks ago, no, I'm sorry, 3 weeks ago, I went to Cuba for a week and had some fun down there. Got some business taken care of, and as soon as I came back, I went right back up to Tennessee, and I just been handling my business. You know what I'm saying? But I got some downtime right now. And I wanted to spend the time talking about that Conor Floyd fight, which was, I'm gonna go ahead and say it was a magnificent fight. I watched it last night. Even the prelims are really fun and exciting to watch. The very first one I was at 6 with the two Mexican guys. You had the young 19 one, and then you had the old little vet 27-year-old. He had Alvarez, I think his name was. He had trained with Floyd. That was a really good fight. It was cool to see, him kind of school that young one, and the young one came out with a lot of heart, had a lot of power. So that was a really good fight to watch. And then the Cunningham fight with the two black brothers. They were sitting up there, and that was a really exciting fight. Lots of power, lots of action, and even I really like that Davis fight. That Davis, the one from Baltimore, Maryland, versus the one from Costa Rica. I think his name was Francisco or something like that. That was a really exciting fight to watch. So, usually I skip the prelims and all these different boxing fights and UFC fights, but I really enjoyed that one. The whole card was really, really exciting. I really enjoyed watching it, especially that Davis versus Francesco, whatever his name was, the Costa Rican boy. That fight was really exciting. I really enjoyed seeing that one, and it was kind of like a twist at the end. When he wrapped that glove upside the back of his head. That was really interesting to watch. And he, unfortunately they didn't say it was illegal or anything, but it was still a really good fight. But as far as the Conor and the Floyd fight, it was pretty cool. We had when it first came in, he came out really strong. Hold up 1 second. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. But Conor came out really, really strong. He had a lot of energy, a lot of power. And what a lot of people don't understand is that him not being a standard professional boxer actually was advantageous for him. He came out with a karate type like stance, a karate stance, or a taekwondo stance even, that really wide, far back, arms down and forward type of stance. And that really worked in his favor for a majority, well, not a majority, but the first half of the fight, especially round 1 and 4, but even towards 5 and 6, a little bit of 7. That was really working towards his advantage because, when you got a standard boxer, standard American boxing, your hands are in front of you, they're up by your face, and your feet are planted facing the opponent. But with taekwondo, karate, and a few other martial arts, like Filipino, and even Muay Thai to a certain extent, your legs are a lot farther apart, pointed out, and you got that back leg, that back strong leg, way behind the lead leg, and you're more to the side instead of forward. And it's a lot harder to read those movements. And, when I was in the sports bar last night with my friends, I heard a lot of people talk, the ones that were rooting for Conor, they kept saying, put your hands up. And to a certain extent, that would have helped. But him having his hands down and kind of back really helped him land shots that a normal boxer wouldn't land on Floyd. Because if you look at Conor fight, his speed is nothing, spectacular. Floyd has fought many fighters with, tremendously better speed than Conor. Manny, Oscar De La Hoya, all of them had a lot better power and speed than Conor. Well, I don't want to say power, but they had a lot better speed than Conor. But they couldn't land the shots Conor did because it's readable. Even though their standard jabs, their standard leads are very fast and effective, it's just a standard jab. He knows it's coming, so he can duck around. Floyd is an expert at reading opponent attacks. But when your hands are down and constantly moving in a circular fashion, unlike any other standard boxer, it's really hard to read those moves. And that's what Conor did in those first few rounds. And I was really surprised to see him landing as many hits as he did. But in a way, that was advantageous for him. But like I said, it was also detrimental because he got tired so fast. By the 6th round, you could see him really starting to tire out and feel all those punches that he was throwing. You know what I'm saying? He was really starting to feel it, and that's how Floyd planned it. He's always done that. Even when he was real young, 18, fresh, he used to let the opponent get tired out, and then he would go in for his hits. Kind of like a Muhammad Ali approach, which is very effective, by the way. It's not running at all. It's called evading. If you're boxing, the whole objective of boxing is trying to beat up the other opponent with punches. So why in the fuck would you sit there and let him hit you with punches? I mean, when I hear people say that, it's just so silly, but they don't know what they're talking about anyway. But he did a great job of evading a lot of Conor's punches, even though he was landing a lot. He landed a lot more than I thought he was going to land, which was, it led to a very exciting fight. But I have to say, man, I was really disappointed. Like I was just saying earlier, that Conor got so tired so quickly. By round 8, he was exhausted. He was exhausted. He would take the little break, for the minute, and then when he came back, he would come back strong for about 30 to 45 seconds, but then he'd be gassed right back out. And I think if he really had a lot more wind, the fight would have definitely went the whole 12 rounds. I don't think either one would have been knocked out. And I think if it went the whole 12 rounds, I think Conor would have even had a chance to win that fight. Because you can go back in that on the rounds where he was fresh and he was really tagging Floyd and setting up them combos and dropping his dropping that guard and getting some contact on those gloves. The scorecard was pretty tied up. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like 48-49 each round. So I think that's what it was after the fourth round, 49-48, and then the fifth round was 58-57. It was neck and neck. And I think if Conor could have went that whole 12 rounds with him keeping that up, I think he definitely would have had a chance to maybe win that fight. Would he have? I don't know. We'll never know. But I think he definitely would have had a fighting chance if he had kept up the tenacity that he had in those first 6 rounds. And like I said, I'm so disappointed in him because he knew this is what was going to happen. And, he said himself when he was sparring with Paulie and a few other partners, his Coach Woodley, he said, those 7, 8, 9, and 10, those rounds have always been tough for me because it seems like I have so much left. But after round 10 and, a little going into 11 and definitely 12, he can kind of get in his head that, okay, I don't have that much left. I could just finish strong and end this. And when we saw that footage with him knocking out Paulie Malignani, or however you say his last name, according to him, that was in the 12th round. So obviously he had the win, but I think psychologically he just wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, but it's really hard to find a sparring partner who could duplicate the movements that Floyd exemplifies every single fight he gets into. Floyd has been having the same style his entire career, but it's so hard to find somebody who can duplicate that. You can't really beat it. You know what I'm saying? And he also talked about how a lot of his sparring partners had more of a stance like him, like the Philly shell type stance. But Floyd doesn't ever really go into that stance. Floyd is like this the entire fight. He keeps that face covered. He leaves his body exposed. Typically body shots, Floyd is always just backed up or ducked instead of actually, blocking him, which is, it's his own kind of style. It's kind of like Floyd's own style. He's kind of unique in that sense. But yeah, man, it was a cool fight. I'm just rambling now, but it was a cool fight, man. I really enjoyed that fight. It could have been a lot better. I even think in that 10th round, when the ref went ahead and called it quits, I think he should have let Conor at least have an 8 count. He should have at least given him 8 count and, see where he was, because a lot of people are saying things, but Floyd didn't rock Conor. Conor wasn't rocked. He was just fatigued. His legs were just giving out. He couldn't even stand up. But when he was on that tightrope, he wasn't rocked or anything, and I think he was trying to get over to that corner. It was hard to do, and I don't know if he would have been able to do it. But I think if he had got to that corner, he would have survived the rest of that round and came back strong for the last 2. So I definitely think that ref should have at least given him an 8 count. But, he called it off. Whatever. That's all speculation right there. Like I said, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But like I said, it was definitely a great fight. I definitely enjoyed watching it. I'm very excited to see Conor go back to UFC, and even Floyd. I'm very excited to see him get 50-0 and get another big check to end his career. I think this was a really good way to end his career, to really solidify his legacy. And I wanted to see Conor win, but at the same time, I didn't want to see Floyd lose. You know what I mean? So I'm very glad that Floyd got that W, and Conor took his defeat. He took his what they say, gracefully defeated. He took it. He took it all very respectably. He's accepted the results. He's not complaining about it, and he's going back to the UFC to give us some more entertainment. So shouts out to Floyd, shouts out to Conor, and shouts out to all the fighters that were in the prelims. I enjoyed that whole card. Appreciate y'all watching.